We're here because today, somewhere in America, an 8-year-old little girl will go to bed hungry. We are here today because somewhere in America, a housekeeper who works in a hotel is walking the picket line in front of that hotel with her union brothers and sisters. Today, half a world away, a 5-year-old boy will lay in a refugee camp with his 2-year-old sister on top of him, his arms wrapped around, holding his sister close. They both watched their parents killed, and he knows that he has to keep her close. He knows that tomorrow and the next day and the next day he will carry his sister every single place he goes because she's all the family he has left. It doesn't have to be that way. We're here today because today, somewhere in America, a father will come home from working second shift. He'll go in to see his precious little girl, give her a kiss goodnight, which is what he always does, and he'll feel the fever on her forehead. And he'll pick her up, although he's bone tired. He'll pick her up, put her in the car, drive to the local emergency room, and sit in the emergency room and beg for the health care that his daughter needs. It doesn't have to be that way. That's why we're here. Because today, everywhere in America, people need us to stand up for them. People need us to stand up for what's right. And so I ask you now, will you stand up for that man in the emergency room who's holding his 8-year-old daughter? Will you stand up? If we don't stand up, we will. 40 years ago, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King spoke at Riverside Church in New York. He spoke about the escalation of the war in Vietnam. And in his words, he said, there come times when standing silent, when you know you should speak out, is a betrayal. It's a betrayal of yourself. It's a betrayal of your That time has come again. We cannot stand silent. They have to hear you. Can they hear you? I believe it is a betrayal for us to not speak out against the escalation of this war in Iraq.
That's right!
It is a betrayal for this president to send more American men and women to die in Iraq when he knows this is not going to succeed. It will not be successful in stabilizing Iraq. And it is not right, through our silence, for us to enable this president to escalate this war. We cannot stand by silence is a betrayal. It is a betrayal not to stop this president's plan to escalate the war when we have the responsibility, the power, and the ability to stop it. We cannot be satisfied with passing non-binding resolutions that we know this president will ignore. We have to use our power. We have to stand up for what's right. decider. I got news for you, Mr. President. You're not the decider. The American people are the decider. The American people are speaking out. Our leaders can do no less. We have to stand up against George Bush's escalation of this war. George Bush is counting on us not to stand up. He's counting on us not to fight against this escalation with everything we have. He's counting on a Democratic Party that will not press what we know is right. Silence is betrayal. Opposing this escalation with all the vigor and tools and strength that we have is a test of political courage. And you better believe that George Bush, Dick Cheney, and Karl Rove, they don't think we're up to it. They don't think we have the backbone and courage to stand up to them. They don't think we're in this to stop the escalation of this war and to bring our men and women home from Iraq. They're counting on us to be weak, to be political, and to be careful. This is not the time for political calculation. This is a time for political courage. And not only when it comes to speaking up about the war in Iraq, but speaking up about what's happening right here in the United States of America. We have 37 million, at least, Americans who wake up every single day living in poverty. 1 out of 5 of our children wake up every day living in poverty in the richest nation on the planet. The question is, can we leave politics aside, and can we have the backbone and guts to stand up for these 37 million people, to stand up for of our own people who don't have health care. Silence is betrayal. These 47 million are silent victims of a health care system that's dysfunctional and getting worse every single day. We cannot allow America's health care policy to be set by big insurance companies and big pharmaceutical companies. We have to stand up on behalf of all those Americans who are standing in line at free health clinics, who are borrowing medicine from other members of their family because they can't pay for their own medicine. And by the way, while we're at it, when we finally, can the Democratic Party finally quit talking about access to health care? When we know what that means is not universal health care, can we finally say we stand now and forever for every single man, woman, and child in America having health care? Yeah! For an energy policy that's not dictated by the profits of big oil companies. An environmental policy that's promoted by polluters. Today, not tomorrow, today, we have got to move America away from this addiction to oil, to move toward energy independence, to do something about the huge moral issue facing our planet of climate change. We all know it's wrong. We cannot do this for our children and our grandchildren. So, will you speak out?
Yes.
Stand up?
Yes.
These are the great moral imperatives of our time. And by breaking the silence, by the way, we are not breaking faith with our forefathers. We are not breaking faith with our men and women in uniform. We are keeping faith with the country that we love so much.